Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the AI. I'm your host, the Data Doc, and today we have an amazing video to go over. In this video, we're going to go over a transcribing workflow. Was to upload a link from YouTube and transcribe the YouTube video and store it in a vector database. This is a 2-video series, and it was requested by one of our members in our school community. So if you're not a member of the school community, it's linked in the description below. But what we do there is I resolve some questions for you. If you have your own custom workflow, I create those for you. And then most importantly, I upload all the JSONs to these workflows there so you can access them completely free. If you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I want to show you how this works. What we've done first is inside of this node, we have the link to the YouTube video here. So my API key is not showing right now. This is what I need to caveat. So I'm going to paste it in and edit this. So if you see it edit, this is why I'm pasting it in here. And then I will show you how this works. What's going to happen in the workflow is it's going to take this YouTube video, transcribe it, send it over to a Google Sheets, and that Google Sheets can be uploaded to a vector database, which you can create an AI RAG agent that can query all of your YouTube video descriptions. So now I've pasted my API key in here. So now we have a secure access. What we're going to do back here is I'm going to run this and hit play. And now we have the workflow executing down here. The information is being processed. The video has been sent to the transcribe prompt. Say that 4 times. To the transcribe prompt that has been sent down. It's going to be processed through a Google AI's information. And this is going to be accessed here. A lot of this is given in the direction step by step how to set this up. I have provided the links in the description below. The links are also inside of this JSON where you can get it at the school community. And also what's going to be there is the Excel spreadsheet. So as we can see, the Google AI has processed this. It sent it to a code node. That node has sent it through a edit fields, and then it has been sent to a Google Sheets with the transcript right here of the entire video. Now, you could do this multiple ways. You can upload multiple videos. I've provided multiple formats. You can submit a form. You can have multiple sheets with the URL of the channels. And then those URLs can be transcribed and multiple videos transcriptions can be saved here, which will then be uploaded to your vector database. So if this adds value to you, stay tuned, watch video 2, where I walk you through this and how this can integrate into a RAG system, where then you can query information on all the YouTube videos you've submitted into this system. We'll use a Pinecone vector database, and you'll be able to search information and upload any video you want from YouTube and have that video as your database to query information from. So if you find value, give this thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Join my school community in the description below. Thank you. All right, everyone. So I've entered my N8n cloud environment. And as always, I always start off by renaming this workflow. So this workflow is going to be titled YouTube Transcript Workflow. I just put WF. And so now the first thing we always have to do is start off with a trigger. All right. So as I've mentioned, there are 3 options that we have. I'm going to show you all 3. We'll start off with a manual trigger. This manual trigger just means that whenever I test it, it runs this through. There's no information in this right now, but if I click this, it will just run whatever information is in this workflow. All right. Another trigger we have is an on forms submission. So what you want to do is you click this plus up here. You go down to add another trigger, and then you want to do on form submission. Now, To complete an form submission, what I always do is give this a title. So essentially what this is this is a form that someone fills out. You can post this on your website. You can do this many different ways. And you can do it yourself. If you just copy this URL into another tab, it will pull up the survey. So here we're going to title this YouTube. And then we'll just put URL, because basically you want to tell yourself, I need the URL, require this field. And now we have that complete. So since I'm not going to use this, I'm going to turn it off. You can turn this off and basically deactivate it. And then you can turn it on and activate it again. The last way I'm going to show you is through the Google Sheets. All right. So we're going to just type Google Sheets here. And what this is going to do is, if you see here, these are all your options. What you want to do is at the bottom right, you want to click this down arrow. It'll give you 3 more options. If you see this lightning bolt, that means it's a trigger. And so if we click on a new row or updated. So essentially what we can do with this is we can copy a bunch of URLs to the Google Sheets, and we can put all of the URLs we want transcribed in this column. And then once the workflow completes, it will update the next column of the transcript. So this is another method. I'm just giving you a couple of methods. So to do this, my Google Sheets is already connected. So what I want to do is leave this at every minute. If there's any changes within a minute, it will update this automatically. I have to fill out the document. So to fill out the document, I'm going to choose from the list. You have 2 options. You have list, URL, and ID. List is easier because all you have to do is go here and you select from your dropdown. And then you just know the name. I know it's YouTube Transcripts, so that's the one I want to do. Again, you have multiple options here. I'm going to also do list here just because it's an easier option to do a dropdown. Now, once I have that, basically, if anything changes in that worksheet, this operation will run and this workflow will complete. So I'm going to also turn this one off. So it's deactivated. Since I'm in my cloud environment, I'm going to click this save button. It's very important because you know how many times I've done this and I've had to start over because the cloud environment drops. So the next thing I need to do if I'm going to run this and transcribe the YouTube videos is I need to set it up. And the way I do that is by typing edit here. And instead of doing edit image, we're going to go down here to edit fields, parentheses set. And what that's going to give us is it's going to give us the ability to add in different information. We're going to click this fields to set a couple of times. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the automation ID. And you'll understand what this means if you stay with this video. But what we're doing is we're going to route this information through so that we have this multiple fields of data that we can extract later in this workflow. So this one is complete. The next one is going to be the API key. I'm going to add another value. I'm not going to fill out my API key right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip that and go to the YouTube URL. Not adding your API key is really important when you're recording because if someone has that API key, they can use it and use your credits. So now what I'm going to do is this is where you want to paste the URL in. So you could set this up many ways. This is where you can paste it in the URL. All right. So the next thing we need to do is prompt type. I'm also assuming you're a little bit knowledgeable of how this works, N8n. So I hope this isn't over your head. If you do run into issues, please let me know. I've set it up multiple ways so you can have options, but essentially they're all the same method. It's just how much information you want to put into this URL channel. All right, so we have that complete. Since this is completed, it's running to this one. The next thing we need to do is add a switch, right? So basically we've put out 1, 2, 3, 4 values of information. So now what I want to do is have a couple of values come out of the other side. So we have a switch here, and a switch is going to route the information to different locations depending on the information that is sent. So here is the input, here's the output, and this is one switch, as you would mention an on and off switch. So what we can do is I can add a couple of routes. And what this means, so right now I have 3 routes, and when data comes in, it will be filtered to go to one of these 3 locations based off the information that comes in. And then it will be output to that location. But the first thing we need to do is fill out some of this information. Once I have this information, I will show you and you will be locked in. All right, so the first one, what we're going to do is we're going to say if information comes in that matches transcript and it comes in and says transcript, then run it to the first output. We're going to require a name, and the name is going to be transcript. The next one is going to say this is the next route. And we are going to say if information comes in with the timestamp, then send it to this location, and it will be the second output. We're going to require the name also. Then we have a couple of more to do. So here we have, if information comes in, summarize it. And then we have a couple more to do. So now I gave you some more options. So now we have the transcript. Now we want to do a scene. And then the scene description. And then the next one we have is the clips. So we want to talk through the clips. Require the name and name that thing clips. We don't want to add another one. That's the last one. What I need to do is add an option, and I want to add a fallback output. So now that we have that, let me go back and I'm going to add my API key, and then we'll run this so we have information. So now I'm going to continue to build this out, and then we'll walk through step by step what's happening when we do this. So for transcripts, for each of these, we're going to do an edit fields again. So we're going to do edit fields. And for this one, these will be relatively quick to edit, but we're going to add prompts to here. So we need to add a field to set, and we got to call it a prompt, and we're going to copy and paste what we want it to do. I will show you what that means. So essentially what you want to do is tell it this right here. Transcribe the video, return only the spoken dialogue verbatim, omit any additional text or descriptions. So now that will be sent through so it can execute that. We're going to do another one, and we're going to set another field. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell it what model to use, what AI model it's going to call, right? And so what's going to happen is this is going to pass it through, and it's going to be used later on in the workflow. So we're going to include input fields, and we're going to leave it at all. All right. So now this is completed. And so now it's way up here because we're going to add another one. And what we're going to add is the same thing, another edit fields. So now we have edit fields. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the transcript one. So we're going to have another prompt. Again, you don't need to copy these. They're in my school community. So here is the prompt. It says generate a time stamp series of the video. Each line must follow this format precisely. Hours, minutes, seconds, dialogue. Return only the timestamps and spoken content, omit other text. All right, so now you're kind of getting the context of what's happening here. This is the same thing. We're going to tell it what model to use. And this is going to be passed through and used later on in the prompt. So it's really important we get this right. So if it doesn't match, it won't work. We're going to add and include all the fields as an input. That one is complete. We will move on to the next one, which is the summary. So now we go down, edit fields again. This is going to be repetitive. So fields to set, it's going to be set as another prompt. The prompt is going to be provide a concise, I'll show it to you. The prompt is going to be shown right. The prompt is going to say, provide a concise summary of the main points in nested bullets. Use quotes only when absolutely essential for clarity. Start output directly with the response. All right. So now, again, repetitive. What we need to do is add the model we are going to use. And then last, the name of the model. And this is going to pass it through. Include all input fields. And then we'll move to the next one. Go here, hit the plus, go here, hit edit, add the next field. And it's going to be set the scene. All right, so here's the prompt. Here's the prompt for the scene. It says, please provide a detailed description of the scene in the video. Setting, where was the scene taken? Indoors, outdoors? Be specific, is it a forest, a city, a location, a room? Object, predominant object, furniture, include details, color, size, etc. So basically you're summarizing the scene. You're going to add the model you're going to use. Again, I use the Google Gemini because right now they give you the free option for students. And since I'm working on my doctorate degree, this is what I do for free. Save as much money as possible. So now we have 2 more to complete, and this will be 100% complete. So now we want to click this plus and then hit the edit fields again. And we're going to add a new field. And this one is going to be another prompt. So as you can see, what's going to happen is when we get to the Gemini, we're going to have a variable. And the variable is just going to say prompt. And the prompt is going to be an expression which pulls whichever one we decide to use. So here's what it says. Extract shareable clips from the social media. Each clip must include timestamps, transcripts, verbatim. And then what you can use from this is you can break them down and use them in a different clips to reshare them and make them in different ways. So now with this complete, add one more field. We have to, again, tell it the model. When you're working in this, you go crazy doing the same things over and over again, but that's with any task. So now this is complete. Last one. So now this shouldn't be here. This should be to this one right here. And now we can move this out the way, click plus, edit fields. And now we'll click this one more time. And to run this, we'll add another prompt. Summarize it. This is going to be a summary prompt. Here is the prompt. Summarize this YouTube video with the focus on actionable insights, use nested bullets, and include relevant quotes, specific highlights, and any recommended tool suggestions. We're going to add the model that we would use. And if you haven't gone crazy and you're still with me, now, if that isn't enough, we're going to have one more edit field. So in this edits field, what we're going to do is we're going to merge all of the information back into one, right? So now all we have to do is leave this as it is and include other input fields. All right, so now just open it up, click this button, close it. But what's more important is that each one of these are linked back to this. It's that simple. All right, so now we have that complete. We are going to do one of the more complicated parts. This part is going to be an HTTP request. And what the HTTP request is going to do is going to get some information. All right, excuse me, it's going to post. So what this needs to be is an HTTP post. And it needs to, this is where that some of this information comes into play. So the URL, we're going to paste this in here. And what I'm going to show you, we need to click it as an expression. But let me show you what we're doing here. HTTPS generativelanguage.googleapis.com. So that is this website here. And this is the model we are using. But basically, it's going to call this website for any information. What this says is it pulls in the model that we mentioned. So remember, I told you, tell it the model. This is going to tell it what model to use, and it's going to give it the API key. So this is where having it earlier in the step kind of just passes it through and just makes life easier. So you don't need you don't need an authentication method since you have the authentication here in the URL. We do need to send a header request. All right. And so what we're going to send is the content type as the name and application and JSON as the value. We do need to send a body. All right. So the body is going to be sent as a JSON. So this needs to be changed as using JSON instead of fields and below. And now we have a JSON script, which was written in here. And this has the URL, which was passed through earlier. And it has this is going to be where the transcript is. All right. So now this is complete. So when we do this, the URL is going to be passed through here. It's going to tell it to go through one of these, which will then send the URL, the prompt, and the model type to the HTTP request so that this AI knows what to do. So now that we have that complete, all we have to do is add a plus and hit code. So now here's our custom code script. And this is going to merge all the information together. Again, join the school community. You don't need to write this down. All you need to do is download the JSON file and it will be in there and everything will run. All you have to do is connect your API keys. So now this is complete. This code is set up. We have 2 more steps and we will be done. Again, this is a very edit fields happy workflow. So now we have another edit fields. And so through this edit fields, what this is going to do, it's going to return the information from the AI. So the name that's going to pass through here is the answer from the generative AI. And what comes is the information from the response from the AI. All right, this needs to be an expression. And from this, we're done. So this will send, so this workflow just completed, retrieved the information. This code is transcribing it, fixing it, and then it gets sent to the edit fields where it gets passed through to the Google Sheets. So the last workflow is the Google Sheets. And here, what we want to do is we want to do append, update a row. So in the append and update a row, my Google Sheets is already connected. All I have to do is go down to the list and I need to do YouTube transcript. And this is selecting the document it's in. Now we're going to select the sheet it's in. And so now we're working from big to small. So we've done the document, we've done the sheet. Now we need to determine which columns we're going to use. So I'm going to use the URL to be the column to match. This is important to have because what you want to match it to is something that is unique. There's no 2 URLs that are the same or they won't work. So URL is a pretty good match. So I'm going to copy this expression over, right? And basically, if you have multiple URLs, it would pass through each of the URLs one by one. And then the last one. All right, so now we have this set up and this workflow is completed. So now that this workflow is completed, I'm going to run this one more time to show that it works. It's run through the prompt. It's getting transcribed. I'm going to drink my protein shake. All right, so that Google HTTP request takes a while. This gets sent over and it gets compiled into this Google Sheets. It's updated here. So now we have the transcript here. We have the Google Sheet. You actually can see the video. But I want to take a step back for a second. I want to show you what you have to do to update your HTTP request. How do you get your API key? So first, to the left of this workflow, we have the instructions of how to do this. Right here in the top has a requirement for Google API. If you click this, it will open a new tab. That new tab will take you here where you can find your API key. It gives you all the information, very easy to use. But aside from that, the transcript is completed and you can do it in multiple ways. All right, so if you wanted this workflow to go a different route besides transcript, and say you wanted to do a summary and make it go through a different route down here, what you would do is you would open this edit fields. I've taken out my API key and you would change this to summary or whichever of the other 7 you wanted. So what you would do is you would change this to match what you want it to be here. So this has to match. If I click summary, it has to match this right here. And it will be set. So basically, if I run this now, let's run it to here. What happened is this workflow goes through, and since I've changed it to summary, it's going to be routed to a different route, and the prompts are going to be sent differently. So if I changed it to match what we wanted it to go here, that's how we would change how it routes. All right, so now I believe you have everything you need to execute this. I hope this video was useful. This was video 1 of 2. The second video is going to take all of these transcripts and we're going to put it into a RAG system where then you would be able to query information from this cell right here of all of the transcripts we've put into this Google Sheets. You could use an AI system to retrieve information for you. So stay tuned for that video. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I'm the Data Doc. Thanks. Bye-bye.